TCGPlayer reached out to me and actually a bunch of people and asked us for our opinions. And I'm excited to share with you one thing that could be in the future of TCGPlayer. And it's really not that big of a deal, but I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm actually especially excited to talk about it because it has to do with international relations or international shipping. That's the deal. Long story short is TCGPlayer is hoping to push international shipping, at least for America to Canada. And I imagine to other neighboring countries as well as Mexico and things like that. But anyways, I'm excited to talk about it. I don't want to get too far into the details just yet. First off, my name's Nick. Hi, thanks for watching. All right, so now to get into the details of it. There are many different marketplaces that people buy cards on. I'm not familiar with all of them because a lot of them are international. A lot of them are for other countries and other economies where TCGPlayer does not yet have its monopolistic tendrils dug in. In the United States, TCGPlayer is the place to buy singles for the cheapest price. I think a lot of people don't know that because of how successful eBay is selling trading cards. Like, well, I say that. There's lots of reasons why people might prefer to buy on eBay over TCGPlayer, but for the price conscious game piece army folks, not the derogatory game piece army, but just people that like playing the game. So I guess that's not game piece army. Anyways, I digress. For people who like playing Magic the Gathering, they often like buying on a budget, and there's no place that's better budget than TCGPlayer. That being said, eBay has lots of other reasons you might want to buy cards, like having pictures of the card is a big deal, and also easier to buy from sellers that you trust. So TCGPlayer is the most popular, largest marketplace for trading cards in the United States. There are other marketplaces. There's CardSphere. What is it even called? I'm going to Google TCGPlayer competitor. That's how unknown they are. Is that... So let's see. When I look up, oh, there it is, Mana Pool. Okay, so when I look up TCGPlayer competitors, there's Card Kingdom, Mana Pool, Card Market, Card Trader, eBay, which eBay is funny to be on that list. Anyways, so there are others in the United States, but TCGPlayer is the winner. And TCGPlayer is not the winner internationally. That's the thing. And so, of course, TCGPlayer is interested in being the winner internationally. And so they reached out to me and a bunch of people, and they asked us, hey, what do you think about shipping to Canada? And I replied, I haven't thought much about it, but it makes sense. And we get into this conversation, and they're kind of showing me some of the marketing materials and things that they're thinking about to try to kind of convince sellers like myself to open international shipping. And it dawned on me, and this is so interesting, that international shipping is an option, and it's built into TCGPlayer. I certainly didn't have to have like a team of TCGPlayer people tell me about it for me to like know that it was a thing. But still, it wasn't until this conversation that I kind of realized, like, oh, I can turn on international shipping. Oh, I could have significantly more people looking at my cards and buying from my store if I just let Canadians and Mexicans look at the cards that I'm selling. Let's do that. And so that was kind of the whole point. That was the whole point of they weren't trying to pitch to me. They're trying to get my feedback on marketing materials that they're going to use to try to pitch to everybody to open up shipping specifically to Canada. And it's fascinating because it's not that hard to do. You go into your TCGPlayer portal. See, now I'm doing TCGPlayer, not a sponsor, but here I am doing their job. So you can go in here, you go to my details. On the left, you can edit shipping options. And then it brings you to this page. And then you can edit your shipping for different areas. And look, I've got United States with $0 shipping, essentially free shipping. And then I've got Canada, active, international. I'm charging $1.79 for my shipping to Canada for a plain white envelope. And then $10 for the bigger stuff and $20 for the bigger stuff. And what I put, $50 for the biggest stuff. I don't really know. Anyways, not really concerned about it. The one thing, of course, to be concerned about is, am I going to lose money selling internationally? Because that was kind of the big headwind, right? Is that, of course, why not sell international? You get more viewers, you get more sales. the headwind is, how do I ship international? And then what does it cost to ship international? And it turns out how you ship international, you just need $1.70 worth of stamps, which you can do with regular stamps. And then you can also buy international stamps that cost $1.70, figures. And so that's not that hard. Then the second part is like, how do you ship international? And it turns out in a plain white envelope, you just, like you would normally, you just put the stamp on, ship it, no problem. USPS takes care of the rest. For tracking, like I know on Pirate Ship, you can go on and you can put in international locations and it costs more and whatever. But it is so interesting to me that they estimate that there's 10 to 12% more human beings will be seeing your cards if you turn on international shipping. That's a lot. That's actually enormous. I mean, 10% more sales, it's not the same thing, but 10% more sales is huge. It's just like a big increase in demand. And so in the fact that most people are either ignorant to it or unwilling to do it, you know, I was ignorant to the ability to sell and ship internationally. And then a lot of people are like me, ignorant to it. And then some people just aren't willing to deal with like international stamps or whatever. And I'm sure there's other legitimate concerns people have, but this feels like a big win. It feels like I just clicked on a couple buttons and opened up, you know, more demand for my cards. And guess what? I already got an order from a Canadian who's also named Nick. Very cool. And so now I don't yet, I'm going to buy the international stamps and get those. So in the meantime, I need to do the math for how many forever stamps makes up $1.70 and do that. But anyways, it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. And so, yeah, that was the conversation with TCGPlayer, as they are interested in expanding their reach, at least in the North American continent. The other point, though, because they talked about Canada the whole time, they didn't talk about other places, but I opened up to Mexico, and I'm going to try this out. And the thing is that the $1.70 international stamps, that works anywhere. You can ship anywhere for $1.70. So why am I not? Why don't I ship to Europe? Why don't I ship to, and like maybe stuff gets lost in the mail more. I don't know. I'm going to slow roll it, right? I'm not just going to like open myself up to sell to every country in the world immediately. But how interesting that I can just hit a couple buttons and then you can choose, you know, I can set my prices. I set my price for shipping internationally to $1.79. So in theory, they're paying their stamp costs, which I think I should charge more actually, because like fees get taken out or something like that. Anyways, I'm not sure. I'm going to figure it out, but trying it out. And does that mean you should try it out? Maybe not. Maybe you should just wait and watch my follow-up video in 2 weeks and learn from me. And then you can try it out or beat me to it. Try it out. But it's pretty cool stuff. So that's the gist. Thanks for watching. I'm actually going to take a couple minutes and talk about myself, because in this parasocial relationship, where I've got viewers that watch me for, you know, minutes, sometimes every day, I thought you might want to know a couple things about me. Like, for example, the line of work I do. I worked at a tech startup as a data scientist, and then I went to work at a Fortune 500 company as a business strategy analyst, which is fancy for saying like an internal consultant, somebody who gets paid to look at numbers and make suggestions to leadership. And it's a ball. I have a really good time inside of this line of work. And so that's cool. I've got a family, got a wife and a kid. What else is there? Yeah, I've been playing Magic since Innistrad. And I have just loved kind of all of Magic, honestly. I mean, yes, there's some sets that I like haven't participated in. Usually, though, it's because of the funds. You know, it's like, especially when you're in college and you're poor or whatever, you know, I just didn't have a ton of money to buy into every pre-release or buy booster boxes or whatever. But now that I'm a big kid with big kid money, it's like, whoo, it's cool. It's really cool to enjoy Magic the Gathering as an adult that has like a little bit of free time and real money. And so that's been the fun thing. But that's about it, I guess. Yeah, just the details, a little bit about, you know, the work I do, and that's, I don't know, I'm not just like a lonely dude. But no offense to lonely dudes. Like, lonely dudes make the planet spin. Let's be real, because it's rough out there. Anyways, okay, that's all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.